Hamlet, by William Shakespeare. About the author. William Shakespeare (1564–1616) was an English playwright, poet and actor. He is widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. His extant works, including collaborations, consist of some 39 plays, 154 sonnets, 3 long narrative poems and a few other verses, some of uncertain authorship. Shakespeare's literary output is vast and includes some of the most celebrated works in the English language. His plays are characterized by their vivid characters, rich language, and exploration of timeless themes. Some of Shakespeare's most famous plays include Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, King Lear, and A Midsummer Night's Dream. His works continue to be performed and studied around the world and have been translated into every major language. Shakespeare's influence on literature, theater, and culture is immeasurable. His plays have been adapted into countless films, operas, ballets, and other art forms, and his words have entered the English lexicon as familiar phrases and expressions. Despite living over 400 years ago, Shakespeare's works remain as relevant and influential as ever, cementing his status as one of the greatest writers in history. Summary of the play: Hamlet. Hamlet is a play written by William Shakespeare. It is estimated to have been written between 1599 and 1601. One of Shakespeare's best-known and most highly regarded works. It is also his longest, containing a total of 29,551 words and 4,042 lines. There are 3 different versions of the play which have survived to this day. The first version, published in 1603, is only just over half as long as the second, which was printed a year later in 1604. The third version was published in 1623, as part of the first version of Shakespeare's complete works. Hamlet is almost certainly the world's most famous play, featuring drama's and literature's most fascinating and complex character. The many-sided Hamlet, son, lover, intellectual, prince, warrior and avenger is the consummate test for each generation's leading actors, and to be an era's defining Hamlet is perhaps the greatest accolade one can earn in the theater. Hamlet also commands a crucial, central place in William Shakespeare's dramatic career. The play is no less a proving ground for the critic and scholar, as successive generations have refashioned Hamlet in their own image, while finding in its new resonances and entry points to plumb its depths, perplexities and possibilities. Hamlet is a tragedy that revolves around the Prince of Denmark, Hamlet, who is grieving the death of his father, King Hamlet. The play begins with the appearance of King Hamlet's ghost, who reveals that he was murdered by his brother, Claudius, who has since married Queen Gertrude, Hamlet's mother, and assumed the throne. Act 1. The play opens with a scene at Elsinore Castle, where the guards Bernardo and Marcellus, along with Horatio, Hamlet's friend, encounter the ghost of King Hamlet. They decide to inform Prince Hamlet about this eerie sighting. Meanwhile, King Claudius, Hamlet's uncle, has married Queen Gertrude shortly after the death of King Hamlet, his brother. Claudius addresses the court and attempts to establish stability in Denmark. Hamlet, still grieving for his father, is distressed by his mother's hasty marriage and his uncle's succession to the throne. He is further troubled by the ghost's revelation about his father's murder. Hamlet meets with the ghost, who reveals that he was murdered by Claudius and implores Hamlet to avenge his death. Hamlet vows to fulfill his father's wish. Act 2. Hamlet begins to feign madness as part of his plan to uncover the truth about his father's death. He confides in Horatio about his intentions. Claudius and Gertrude become concerned about Hamlet's erratic behavior. They enlist Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, Hamlet's childhood friends, to spy on him. Polonius, the Lord Chamberlain, believes Hamlet's madness is a result of his love for Polonius's daughter, Ophelia. He advises Ophelia to reject Hamlet's advances. Hamlet stages a play called The Mousetrap to trap Claudius. The play depicts a murder similar to King Hamlet's death, and Claudius's reaction confirms Hamlet's suspicions of his guilt. Act 3. Claudius, alarmed by Hamlet's behavior, decides to send him to England under the pretext of delivering a diplomatic message. Hamlet confronts Gertrude in her chamber, where he berates her for her hasty marriage and accuses her of betraying his father. During their conversation, Hamlet accidentally kills Polonius, who is hiding behind a tapestry. Ophelia, devastated by Hamlet's rejection and her father's death, descends into madness. She sings songs and distributes flowers, symbolic of her fractured state of mind. Claudius decides to take drastic measures to eliminate Hamlet, fearing that he poses a threat to his rule. He conspires with Laertes, Polonius's son, to devise a plan to kill Hamlet during a fencing match. Act 4. Hamlet's departure for England is interrupted when he encounters Fortinbras, the Norwegian prince, leading an army to conquer a small piece of Polish territory. Hamlet is struck by Fortinbras's resolve and determination. Ophelia, driven mad by grief, drowns herself in a brook. Laertes returns to Denmark seeking vengeance for his father's death and his sister's madness. Claudius convinces Laertes to challenge Hamlet to a fencing match, where Laertes will use a poisoned sword to ensure Hamlet's death. Claudius also plans to poison a goblet of wine as a backup measure. Act 5. The final act opens with two gravediggers discussing Ophelia's death and the implications of her Christian burial. Hamlet and Horatio encounter the funeral procession for Ophelia, where Hamlet's grief over her death is palpable. Laertes confronts Hamlet, seeking revenge for his family's deaths. During the fencing match, Laertes wounds Hamlet with the poisoned sword. In the ensuing chaos, Gertrude inadvertently drinks from the poisoned goblet intended for Hamlet and dies. Hamlet, in a fit of rage, stabs Claudius with the poisoned sword, fulfilling his promise to his father. Laertes also succumbs to the poison and reveals Claudius's treachery before dying. Hamlet, knowing that he is also mortally wounded, names Fortinbras as his successor before dying. The play ends with Fortinbras's arrival, who assumes control of Denmark amidst the tragic aftermath of death and betrayal. Each act of Hamlet contributes to the unfolding drama, building tension and complexity as the narrative progresses towards its tragic conclusion. The play's exploration of themes such as revenge, madness, mortality, and corruption captivate audiences and ensures its enduring legacy in literature. The conclusion of Hamlet brings the play to a tragic and climactic resolution, marked by the deaths of several key characters and the ascension of Fortinbras to the throne of Denmark. The conclusion of Hamlet serves as a culmination of the play's themes of revenge, madness, mortality, and corruption. It underscores the tragic consequences of Hamlet's pursuit of vengeance and the moral ambiguity of his actions. The deaths of the major characters, including Hamlet himself, symbolize the inevitable nature of mortality and the futility of human endeavors in the face of fate. Ultimately, Fortinbras' ascension to the throne signifies the restoration of order and the resolution of the political turmoil that has engulfed Denmark throughout the play. Critical analysis of the play, Hamlet. Hamlet, by William Shakespeare, is a complex and multifaceted play that has captivated audiences and scholars alike for centuries. Here's a critical analysis focusing on some of its key elements. Shakespeare's characterization in Hamlet is particularly rich and nuanced. The titular character, Hamlet, is one of the most psychologically complex figures in literature. His internal conflict, hesitation, and philosophical introspection make him a compelling protagonist. Other characters, such as Claudius, Gertrude, Ophelia, and Polonius, are also intricately drawn with their own motivations and flaws, contributing to the play's depth. Hamlet explores a myriad of themes, including revenge, madness, mortality, and the nature of existence. Revenge is a central theme, as Hamlet seeks to avenge his father's murder. However, the play also delves into the consequences of revenge, highlighting the moral ambiguity and futility of violence. Madness is another prominent theme, with Hamlet's feigned insanity blurring the lines between reality and illusion. Shakespeare's language in Hamlet is poetic and rich in imagery, contributing to the play's lasting impact. From Hamlet's famous soliloquies to the play's memorable dialogue, Shakespeare's words are both profound and evocative. The imagery in Hamlet often revolves around decay, corruption, and mortality, reflecting the play's underlying themes. The structure of Hamlet is carefully crafted, with its intricate plot and subplots intertwining to create a cohesive narrative. The play within a play device, where Hamlet stages a performance to expose Claudius's guilt, adds layers of complexity to the plot. The play's ending, with its tragic resolution and high body count, underscores the themes of mortality and fate. Hamlet is set in a politically turbulent Denmark, reflecting the anxieties and uncertainties of Shakespeare's own time. The play explores power dynamics, corruption, and the consequences of political intrigue. Claudius's usurpation of the throne and Hamlet's struggle to restore order speak to larger issues of governance and legitimacy. Hamlet also examines gender dynamics and relationships, particularly through the character of Ophelia. Ophelia's descent into madness and eventual suicide highlights the constraints placed on women in Shakespearean society. The play's treatment of love, betrayal, and familial duty adds depth to its exploration of human relationships. In End of the Critically Analysis, Hamlet is a masterful work of literature that continues to resonate with audiences due to its complex characters, universal themes, and timeless relevance. Through its rich language, intricate plot, and profound insights into the human condition, Shakespeare's play remains a testament to the enduring power of storytelling. Themes. Revenge. Revenge is a central theme in Hamlet, as the titular character is tasked with avenging his father's murder. However, Shakespeare complicates this theme by exploring the moral and psychological complexities of revenge. Hamlet's obsession with vengeance consumes him, leading to his procrastination and indecision. He struggles with the morality of killing Claudius, questioning whether it is justifiable to take another's life. The consequences of revenge are also depicted throughout the play. Hamlet's pursuit of vengeance ultimately leads to the deaths of several characters, including himself. This underscores the destructive nature of revenge and its ability to perpetuate a cycle of violence. Madness. Madness is a pervasive motif in Hamlet, with both real and feigned madness playing significant roles in the narrative. Hamlet's decision to feign madness serves as a strategic tactic to conceal his intentions and gather information. However, the line between reality and illusion becomes blurred as Hamlet's feigned madness begins to take a toll on his psyche. His erratic behavior raises questions about the nature of sanity and the thin line between sanity and madness. Ophelia's descent into madness further explores this theme. Her grief over her father's death and Hamlet's rejection drives her to madness, highlighting the destabilizing effects of emotional turmoil. Mortality. The theme of mortality pervades Hamlet, as characters grapple with the inevitability of death and the fragility of life. The ghost of King Hamlet serves as a constant reminder of mortality, appearing as a spectral figure haunted by the circumstances of his untimely death. Hamlet's famous soliloquy, "To be, or not to be," reflects his contemplation of mortality and the existential questions that plague him. He ponders the merits of life and death, questioning whether it is nobler to endure the sufferings of existence or to end them through suicide. The play's conclusion, marked by the deaths of several characters, reinforces the theme of mortality. Death becomes the great equalizer, as even the powerful and the noble are not spared from its grasp. Corruption and decay. Corruption and decay are recurring motifs in Hamlet, reflecting the moral and political deterioration of the Danish court under Claudius's rule. The imagery of decay permeates the play, symbolizing the moral rot that infects the kingdom. Claudius's murder of King Hamlet and subsequent usurpation of the throne epitomize the corruption at the heart of the Danish court. His actions not only destabilize the kingdom but also poison the relationships between characters. The play within a play, The Mousetrap, serves as a metaphor for exposing the corruption and deceit within the court. Claudius's reaction to the play reveals his guilt and exposes the truth behind King Hamlet's murder. These themes intertwine to create a complex and thought-provoking exploration of human nature, morality, and the human condition in Hamlet. Shakespeare's masterful treatment of these themes continues to resonate with audiences, ensuring the play's enduring relevance and significance. Characterization. Hamlet. The protagonist of the play, Hamlet is a complex and introspective character. He is deeply affected by the death of his father, King Hamlet, and is tormented by his mother's hasty marriage to his uncle, Claudius. Hamlet is often described as melancholic and philosophical, prone to introspection and contemplation. He struggles with his duty to avenge his father's murder and grapples with existential questions about life, death, and morality. Hamlet feigns madness as part of his plan to uncover the truth about his father's death and seek revenge against Claudius. His erratic behavior confounds those around him and adds layers of complexity to his character. Claudius. Claudius is Hamlet's uncle and the antagonist of the play. He is ambitious and manipulative, usurping the throne by murdering his brother, King Hamlet, and marrying Queen Gertrude. Claudius is depicted as a skilled politician who is adept at manipulating others to achieve his goals. He is willing to resort to treachery and deceit to maintain his grip on power, making him a formidable adversary for Hamlet. Despite his outward confidence and authority, Claudius is haunted by guilt over his actions. His guilt is symbolized by his reaction to The Mousetrap play, where he inadvertently reveals his complicity in King Hamlet's murder. Gertrude. Gertrude is Hamlet's mother and Claudius's wife. She is caught in the middle of the power struggle between Hamlet and Claudius and is often portrayed as a complex and ambiguous character. Gertrude is depicted as a sensual and maternal figure who is torn between her loyalty to her son and her new husband. Her hasty remarriage to Claudius raises questions about her morality and loyalty. Gertrude's ambiguous loyalties add to the tension of the play, as Hamlet grapples with his feelings of betrayal and resentment towards her. Polonius. Polonius is the father of Laertes and Ophelia and serves as the Lord Chamberlain of Claudius's court. He is portrayed as a bumbling and long-winded character, often offering unsolicited advice and meddling in the affairs of others. Polonius is characterized by his tendency to meddle in the affairs of his children and others, often to disastrous consequences. His decision to spy on Hamlet and Ophelia's relationship leads to his untimely death. Despite his flaws, Polonius is ultimately a tragic figure whose overzealousness and desire for control contribute to the tragic events of the play. Ophelia. Ophelia is the daughter of Polonius and the love interest of Hamlet. She is depicted as a gentle and obedient young woman who is caught in the crossfire of her father's schemes and Hamlet's madness. Ophelia is portrayed as innocent and vulnerable, easily manipulated by the men in her life. Her descent into madness following her father's death and Hamlet's rejection serves as a poignant commentary on the limitations placed on women in Shakespearean society. Ophelia's tragic demise underscores the destructive consequences of the power dynamics and machinations of the male characters in the play. These are some of the main characters in Hamlet, each contributing to the complex and multifaceted narrative of Shakespeare's iconic tragedy.